I don't know why. Do we ever know why? Does it matter? But I was thinking about love, and wondering if any people ever fell in love, and stayed in love, and did not cool, and they lived happily ever after. Maybe it was because I was thinking about Ernest Hemingway, and his first wife Hadley, and how he wound up with 4 wives. And then someone mentioned Aphrodite and Adonis, and I thought maybe they had turned this trick, a very neat trick, so I checked that out, but no, they didn't. Their lives were a mess, more of a train wreck than a love story. So I still had this in my head when I caught a chunk of a movie on TV. I missed the beginning, Juan DeMarco, and of course, it's all about love. So I watched what was left of it. It starred Johnny Depp, Marlon Brando, and Faye Dunaway. I'm not saying it's a great movie, although I enjoyed it. Rotten Tomatoes put it in the 70s, so-so. Depp, I think, had a wonderful time playing the title character, one of his marked eccentrics. He gets to have long hair, earrings, a mask, and an accent, and to be the lover that all women would truly desire. It's a big, wild, fantastic role, and Depp plays it quietly and lushly to the hilt. Yes, there is some swordplay. Brando is amazing. First of all, he's huge, a dirigible of a man, barely able to negotiate hallways and doors. He must weigh 700 pounds. He's a psychiatrist examining Depp's character and forced to compare his life to the one he's trying to diagnose, the one who claims to be Don Juan. Depp relates stories that are compelling and overwhelming, heart-rending and heartbreaking, and Brando is almost ashamed of his pallid existence. Most of all, he sees, at last, the treasure he's been living with for over 30 years, who's been fixing his coffee and his dinner every day like a servant, his treasure of a wife, played by Faye Dunaway. I gave up on Faye Dunaway years ago. I thought she had promise as an actress, probably stemming from Bonnie Parker, but she flamed out. Maybe she had bad roles and landed in lousy movies. In this one, I think she's radiant. She shines. I think she enjoyed making this movie, playing out her scenes with Brando, who reacts to her, does not smother her, seems to rediscover her, and she blossoms. These are 2 actors I do not associate with fun and personal intimacy, so it was astonishing to me to see them repeatedly engaging in scenes featuring those playful and tender expressions. Don Juan brings out the romantic in the psychiatrist, and he likes it. He happily becomes Don Octavio, or whatever it is. It's really a perfect Hollywood movie, arguing that illusion is a far better way of living, more satisfying, more interesting, and more profound than real life, which is drab, dreary, and without much purpose or soul. Don Juan says, and I'm paraphrasing, meaning I don't recall it exactly, that life forces you to ask yourself 4 questions. What is sacred? What is the essence of the human spirit? What is worth living for? And what is worth dying for? And he says, dripping with his accent, that the answer to each of those questions is love. The complication with love is that there are so many kinds of love, and they are very different. The love in the movie that is exalted is romantic sexual love, and these characters find it and live it and share its happiness. This with an understanding that it is a fantasy, and it gains its power and very existence from the fact that, wink wink, it is not real. So the answer to my question seems to be that if people are willing to construct together a little fantasy that is not real, but is much better, preferable to anything that reality has to offer, namely, love, of a certain nature, and if they devote themselves to it wholeheartedly, as was once done in what was called courtly love, with all of its ceremony and total dedication, then it would be possible to fall in love and stay in love and live happily ever after. But you'd have to be crazy in order to get away with it.